Welcome to your Monday morning journaling session with me here. This Today we're going to be looking at your turning points and when you thought it was the right time for you to start your healing process, because everybody has different turning points. Everybody has times where they feel like, hang on, something needs to change. So we're talking about that need to change moment today. So we're going to be covering all things body signals, emotional signals, signals from your mental health that something was quite, I'm not going to say off, but something wasn't quite right. We all know when something feels a little off kilter. So it's covering that this morning, and we're going to do 4 journaling prompts as usual to kick our brains into gear, to collect those first fresh thoughts that we have in the morning when we get up. So if you're doing this first thing in the morning, that's brilliant. But also, as long as you are doing this and it is part of a habit, then you are doing amazing and you are taking exactly the right steps that you need on your recovery journey. So that's what we're looking for. So if you're in any doubt of why is this person spouting this at me first thing on a Monday morning? Well, I have been exactly where you are. I was on a cliff edge with my anxiety. Things weren't great at home. My mum was in hospital at the time, and I felt rock bottom. Okay. We all have those moments when we feel like we've hit the rock bottom, and I felt that. It wasn't great. I'm going to be real with you. It was not great at all. It was quite rubbish, in fact. So I turned to therapy. As I was having regular panic attacks, I was feeling like the worst thing could possibly happen at any moment. So I just wanted to feel more me. So I turned to therapy. I tried to do my normal life coaching tips, techniques that I'd learned, but I kind of thought, I need something else. I need somebody that I can talk to who is completely unbiased, who doesn't have an opinion on me and what's going on at the moment, because I had too many opinions on myself to see the wood for the trees. So that's what led me to turn to therapy. And that's what kickstarted things, really. But none of that would have happened if it wasn't for this. And I'm just going to put this quote on the screen and see what you think. Okay. This was from a grief counsellor that I saw in 2011. Put it in a box and store it on a shelf with a lid on it. That was her response to me talking to her just after I'd lost my dad. And this isn't me bitching or griping or whatever. This is me stating that this is wrong. A lot of my problems stemmed from this being common advice years back. And when you've got this as advice, it makes you feel like you can't talk to people. It makes you feel worthless. Which adds to what? It adds to the responses that we have within us when we have been through trauma. And this kept coming up. When I was going through anxiety, when I was questioning who I was after the domestic abuse, this was coming up for me. But this, thankfully, isn't my advice, which is why it will never be shown on the screen again, because I admire and I respect people that can have open conversations with others, because that truly, truly starts the healing process. Nobody is worthless. Nobody's problems deserve to be stored on a shelf. So that's why I encourage open conversations during my sessions. It's why I encourage you to join these sessions, because you have a voice in the comments. You can share your problems. You can share your opinions. I welcome that. Even if you don't type them in the comments, write them down. Send them to me on my email. That's what it's there for. So use it. And learning to reflect is so powerful, which is why journaling is so beneficial. So with that in mind, I will put up my video on the screen and we'll do a little bit of a breathing exercise to get us in the mood this morning and get us started. So while this is playing, I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose or out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let everything go. Let your body relax. Come out of that fright or flight feeling. This is for you this morning, nobody else. So, welcome back. How was that? Does everybody feel a little bit more relaxed now? So with that, I want to head into the first journaling prompt. And this one is, What was the moment or event that made you realize you couldn't continue living the way you were? As I have already said, everybody has that moment. Everybody has that time when they realize that things aren't the way that they used to be. And that's okay, because you need to take the time to retune and reconnect with your body. And sometimes an important way of doing that is learning to feel and accept the way that your mind, body is. So sometimes it might come in handy to reflect on this question, just to see how far you've come on this journey of healing. So I'll give you just under 2 minutes to do this. And then when we come back, I'll give you some more reflection and some more tips and points to this, because you cannot underestimate how important it is to understand your body and to realize when your turning point was and how significant that was in your healing journey. I hate using the word journey, by the way. If somebody comes up with a different phrase, please suggest it in the comments. So sometimes when you go through a turning point that makes you stop and think, it's sometimes either an event, a specific moment, maybe it's a list of chronological moments that make you sit and wonder why, how, when, what. It's that moment where you want to break the cycle, where you want to step out of the spin dryer that your head feels like it's been in. It's that moment that you want to say, stop. I need to change. It can lead to an emotional shift, a physical shift. But when was your I need to change moment? When did you realize that was crucial for you? When did you realize you needed to say stop to that cycle? Okay, so I hope you got a lot from that. There's power in reflection, as I've said. There's power in noticing your thoughts, feelings, emotions, mental state, physical state, because nobody else knows what's going on with you unless you make the first move. So let's move on to the next question, which is, how did your mind or body give you signals that healing was needed? Okay. So we all know about the brain and gut connection. That can be one. Sometimes IBS is triggered during emotional situations. Sometimes you might get that twisting feeling in your stomach when something doesn't doesn't feel right, or you start to panic. A lot of that is centered around signals that your body is trying to give you. So maybe you notice a fluttering feeling in your chest, and those can be heart palpitations, which are also common after you've experienced trauma. A lot of these can be decreased by you taking control. And part of that control is starting your healing journey. So maybe they were emotional signals, mental signals, fatigue, anxiety, pain, numbness around feelings. And I'm willing to bet right now that some of that sounds familiar to you. So I'm going to give you, again, just under 2 minutes to journal, and then we'll come back together. I'll share some more tips, tricks, things like that, things to reflect on. And just take your time. Remember that this is your space. Journaling doesn't have any rules because there are no rules. Probably why I like it so much. So let's crack on and see how you go with this. Okay, so I'm just going to share these last few reflections with you. Feeling disconnected is a common thing that can happen with this as well. It's a common signal. So sometimes when you say that you feel something, but you don't know what emotion you're feeling, or sometimes when you feel like you're left out of certain conversations, or your mind wanders off, that can be a sign of disconnection too. And sometimes you can become disconnected with who you once were. Sometimes you may even feel almost like a twisting inside when you think of who you used to be before the trauma. It's important that you recognize those as signals that you did need to heal and that you are on the right path. Because your brain is a very clever thing. It's a very clever organ. Because it's capable of sending all these signals to your body that things aren't right and that you do need to take control. Healing is the one thing after trauma that you can take control of. These prompts right now are also ways you can take control. Some people may call you a control freak, but is it really you that's a control freak? Think about that. So, with that in mind, describe your mind-body communication. What was off? What was needed? What gave you that signal that something wasn't right? Because something did. So, with that, think about what you learned from those signals. What did you learn about yourself from those signals? Okay. Again, you can always come back to this video, subscribe, join me, be notified of when I next post, and you won't miss one. And then that just means that you can go back, go forward, stop, pause, whatever you want to. You don't have to pay for it. So, slight diversion. Let's go on to the next question or prompt. So, this next one. Was there a specific person, book, experience, or moment that gave you the courage to seek healing? I've read books, as I'm sure we all have at some point. I've also seen films. I've also had different experiences. And it's those experiences, the people that you connect with, the book characters you connect with specifically, whether it's an autobiography, biography, fiction, non-fiction, they all include people that you can relate to. So, was there a moment within all that, within all those people, books, experiences, or moments that gave you the courage to seek healing? What gave you the courage? That's what this ultimately comes down to. So again, I'll give you another few moments to look through, consider the different narratives, consider the different ways, reasons And again, connect with everything. Okay. I'm going to leave you another few moments to journal, and then I'm going to come back and share another few points with you. So, this prompt's all about the external influences that we have in our lives, whether they are the people we come across on the street, the people we live with, the books we read, the characters within them, the movies we watch, the characters in those, and probably more importantly, the personalities they have. What draws you to people? Was there a reason that they gave you the courage? Did someone say something that you resonated with? Did you come across a story, maybe of somebody else that survived trauma? Ultimately, this is about the influences that you come across or came across on your journey. So, was there a person who inspired you? Did they come across as strong during a speech they gave? Did you agree with the points that they said? All this gets you to embrace the external people around you that are there at your fingertips. And they are people that I sometimes call your support circle. I don't believe in a network. A support circle. The ones that you hold close to you. I still turn to mine for advice and support when I need it. And there's no shame in that, because they are the people who are supposed to inspire you. With books, films, you're never alone. So embrace it. So, with that being said, the next question is, how did you first feel when you realized healing was possible or necessary for you? Again, this can bring up lots and lots of different feelings. It can bring up relief that you finally found that healing was possible for you, it can bring up sadness at the thought of needing to be healed. Or it could just bring peace that you can be healed. And then that means that there are other people like you. And you're not as isolated as you once thought you were. It's about looking inwards, delving in, as to realizing how you first felt. And it's important to explore the emotions that come up for this one. Okay, I'll give you another few moments again, and then we'll come back and I'll share another couple of points on this one because it's such an important one. Okay, so what emotions came up for you during that? Because it's so crucial that we listen to our emotions, that we take heed from them in different situations. And this is definitely one of those situations. So, another aspect of this to look at and consider is what realizing this impacted your healing journey and the path forward, your path forward. Previous to this moment, were you just looking at a dead end, a crossroads? Maybe you didn't trust anybody. Maybe you weren't willing to trust. Were you just looking at a future on your own? Which all of a sudden, either the path opened up, the crossroads became clearer, you knew which direction you were going in, and you slowly thought that you could begin to trust again. That's what the healing path is all about. It's all about being able to see a future. It's all about being able to clear away the trees or the brambles or the thorn bushes. It's all about making space, holding space for you. That's why this is so important. That's why this is so crucial for you. So, hope you've enjoyed this morning. And I hope to see you here again next Monday. So join, comment, share, shout it from the rooftops that you've journaled with authenticity, which can only be found on Imperfect TV with Gemma Blythe every Monday morning. So I'm sending so much love, so much healing, strength out there to you all this morning. And if anybody asks what you're doing, saying, you'll be right back, journaling. See you soon. Much love. And remember, put yourself first. Stay selfish for you. It's good sometimes.